Hi, everybody. So, I wanted to do a little short video talking about the unchecked toxicity that us gifted people experience. Okay. And I'm talking about people who are gifted in their soul plan. Okay. Who have found their God given gift. There's a lot of unchecked toxicity that we go through. And it's like we can't call it out or we're called arrogant or narcissistic. So we just got to keep on suffering the toxicity. If we say you're treating me like this because I'm gifted, because I did great, somebody say you narcissistic. It's like you have to just tolerate it or pretend like you're not going through it. And y'all, I'm just tired of it. And it's in America. It's American people or people that are from America that's bringing toxicity to gifted people. In other countries, they really celebrate gifted people, you know, and they don't care too much what your skin color is. If you gifted, you gifted. But it's a common thing for people who may have an English, an American accent, or from America. They love to bring toxicity to gifted people. And it's to me, it's a low key way to oppress us and do it in a sneaky way. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about this toxicity. One of the ways I think they do it is by like purposely trying to make you like an outsider. But like, oh, they let you be a little in, but then like, oh, try to make you like out, throw you out. It's like you're restricted from showing a certain amount of your giftedness or you're punished. We're put in a position where we have to hush our giftedness so that everybody else who's not will not feel insecure. Um, it's like now that's very toxic because gifted people still work to get gifted. Okay, we worked hard to access the full throttle of our gift. We put in work. Okay, because any gift you don't lose once you get in full throttle of it. Any gift you don't use, you will lose. So we're still practicing, we're still using it every day, we're still putting in work. So it's real disrespectful to act like we're only supposed to get a breadcrumb applause because we're gifted. Like, I've already heard your gift many times, so I'm only going to give you a micro applause amongst people who hasn't reached that level. People don't know that that's toxic. And you're only hurting the people who aren't gifted in their craft yet by micro breadcrumbing us or applause. That you're making them think that we didn't do good enough or that our work is not a big deal, and that's just hurting the non-gifted. You're not helping them. Anyone who tries to belittle gifted people in front of the non-gifted, you're hurting the non-gifted people. When you act like you didn't notice, if you're a teacher and you act like you're as a host, you didn't notice, and you try to just make it like, oh, I'm just your work was so good, but you don't want to pin out, you don't want to mention how, you don't want to mention what stood out. You're hurting the non-gifted. You're making them think that we're at a level they don't need to strive for. And that is the biggest problem. with being in groups when you're gifted. I find that toxic as hell. Okay? Whew. Hi, Christina. Hi, The Chosen. It's narcissistic to sit up there and say, well, you didn't show you gifted in it a lot many times, so I don't need to compliment you as much this time. I don't need to give you your coins. That's narcissistic. How you know? How you know the work I did? You acting like I got some magic genie lamp sitting around here that I'm rubbing and the stuff just coming out. Okay, I did work and I'm doing work every day up in this mother effer. Like serious. I'm doing some serious clearing, mindfulness up in here, some serious praying and giving gratitude. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to so I can get full access to my gifts and be really gifted. So why do I have to be shortchanged? That's not fair. That's like saying those people don't have the magic lamp and you do. So we have to be we have to minimize our compliments on yours and really be supportive to them. Yo, yo, it's so toxic. It's so toxic, y'all. And I hadn't had enough with it that I ghosted a group just now. I ghosted a group that I was in like 4 times. And I said, this woman got one more time, okay, to act aggravated about my giftedness. She was so aggravated that when she said everybody raised their hand who want to read, she okay, in a minute. I'm like, wow, she's really irritated about my giftedness. And then when everybody else raised their hand, she said, oh, okay, you go ahead and read. It's your turn. And she was all calm and her demons was all calm. And these people, she didn't heard before. I guess she realized they might not be as gifted as me, so her demons wasn't irritated. And somebody put in the chat, somebody put in the chat, I'm impressed that such beautiful writing could come out of you in just 10 minutes, Victoria. I'm impressed by that. She didn't even mention that somebody put that in the chat for me. And she looking at the chat through the whole time, okay? Going like this. She didn't even say it. But when everybody else was posting comments for everybody else, she said, check the comments because there are comments in there for you. She acted like she didn't see mine. Because she did not want me to get my coins from people in the chat. She made people feel uncomfortable with complimenting me on video, that they was putting it in the chat. Okay, I'm telling you no lie. They was worried about irritating other non-gifted people, and she was worried about that. So she made the people who didn't want to be caught in the middle, who wanted to give me my coin, she made them feel like they had to put it in the chat. The way she responded was like almost like she didn't want to mention what I did good, like what really, she didn't want to give me all my coins. And she said, I've heard your work before, and it's always been breathless. So I'm like, I don't give a damn if you heard my work 15 other times. Give me my coins for this piece. I was just shocked, y'all. I found it toxic. Now that's another thing, okay? Telling a gifted person, well, I've heard your work many times, and your work before moved me. No, no. To me, that's top dancing around giving me my coins for the work I just did. You're trying to be slick. And that's toxic. That's like a teacher saying, "Well, I've read your other essays for your homework, and they were good. So," and the student would be like, "Well, teach, I'd like to hear your insight on this essay." Y'all, that's toxic. Y'all, I'm telling you no lie. Now I'm gonna tell you something else that's toxic. All right, unchecked toxicity is when people think only the non-gifted should get invited to stuff. Like they need to be given discounts and sympathized with and given, like, led the way into the private parties. But we got to go knocking on the door saying, "Can we come?" I'm like, serious? That's toxic. I should get the same invitation that they get. You know, I noticed that I signed up to some of these groups that I made a really great impression on with my work, and they don't email me. They don't announce in my email when they have their next event. But then they'll say on their page, "We send out emails on our next event." And then I'll go to the event section and I'll see that they had an event and I missed it. So they don't have me on their mailing list. And why would you not include someone on your mailing list who's already been in your event more than once? Sounds like you got some sort of your demons or something irritated by them, by their gift, that you're trying to find a way to not get them to find your event, hoping that they don't show up because you scared you're going to lose the ungifted people if that person keeps showing up. Now, here's what I got to say about that. If the ungifted people leave your group because a gifted person keeps showing up, then what does that tell you? Those non-gifted person was not ready to humble themselves and learn. They weren't ready. So you might as well shut your damn group down. People be so thirsty for participants in their group that they'll piss on the gifted participants just to keep the other people who are insecure. When did we get that thirsty for people to join us? When did we get that thirsty? That's not helping the group to be kind of low key pushing the gifted person out just to keep the non gifted people. That's not helping nobody. It's not even helping your group. You want pressure on your non gifted people. How the hell you think they get gifted? You get gifted through pressure. I be saying this over and over again, but a lot of people don't understand that concept. Everybody think that giftedness come without pressure. It doesn't. It needs pressure. And you have to accept the pressure for the giftedness, the new gift of giftedness and your present manifestation to come through you. Fighting the pressure is blocking the blessing. Running from it is blocking it. Y'all, this unchecked toxicity towards gifted people is disturbing. It really is. You know, um, there's not that many divine ones out here, y'all. It's far less than we think. Right when you think you're in a room full of divine ones, you find out only one other one in there other than you is divine. And everybody else is faking or losing their divineness. They almost lost it. I'm just saying, y'all, because divine ones, they keep it real. Divine ones, we recognize giftedness. If we see that you tend to be showing giftedness, we're not going to pretend like we don't see. We're not going to do that. And then some people think that giftedness is just skill. No. Giftedness has to do with also rhythm and timing. Okay? Michelangelo could have painted his famous painting and angels everywhere, and it still may not have been good. It was the story that he told. It was the placement of the angels. It was their angles. It was what they contributed to the narrative, their life force. It was all of that. That goes beyond skill. That goes into concepts and like design, okay? And like the movement of the spirit. That comes when you accept pressure and you humble yourself to reach giftedness. Anybody can get the lessons on how to do what they're doing, but knowing where to put this and put that and when to put this and when to lead that and then go to that, all that takes divineness. All that takes the openness to the pressure of the cosmos, the angels. I've heard people be right there with creating something gifted and they lose it because ego come in. Ego come in. Giftedness requires you to stay humble even after you're given something amazing. Doesn't matter if it's a single line across the page. Okay? If it's amazing, you still have to return right back to humbleness. But some people get so excited when they come up with something a little brilliant that their ego rises and then it blocks the pressure of the angels. And then their gift just starts to fall apart. You know, they get out of the brilliantness. But it's funny is that if they're in a group and they're white, they get a pass. Doesn't matter if they strayed from it in their work. But if I show giftedness throughout my work from head to toe, I must got a magic genie lamp and I need to be put in the corner for a while. Y'all, it's toxic. It's straight up toxic. You know, I was listening to this one girl's work in a group, and when I saw how the host responded, I left. I ghosted. I'm sitting up there listening, and I'm hearing cliches like I'm sitting still. I'm like, that's cliche. It was cliche, 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 cliche sprinkled all in. And she gave this really big, like, compliment and put me in the corner. Like, oh, I've heard your work before. And I'm like, it's always just so moving, you know. So thank you. I'm like, my work didn't have cliches, but the other students in the chat realized they said the truth. They said what the host should have said. And I'm like, nah, I ghosted her. I said, nah, nope. The funny thing is gifted people say, I want you here, but I don't want you here. You can only show but so much giftedness, or I got to push you out. That's toxic. Who are you to tell me how much of my giftedness I can show? Telling y'all gotta be careful. Okay. And then what I noticed about this host, she's always talking about she guide other writers. That's what she do. But she don't never read her own work. She's charging people $50, $100 to guide people in writing and to help them start writing and unlock their writing abilities. She never shares her own work. See, that's narcissism. Narcissists think they don't have to prove that they could do it well. And I realized, I said, she's a narcissistic queen of cups. She's a queen of cups in reverse. She got about like 15 people in this group, and she trying to charge people $50, $100 for a 1 hour session to get them to unlock their writing and stuff. And she didn't post no link to her own writing, and she didn't share nothing about her writing or her credentials or her education in writing. Make that make sense, y'all. I said, I'm leaving. You know what? You know why people be acting toxic towards gifted people? They be scared that we're going to steal their gray spotlight, because their spotlight don't be that bright when they're the host and they're not gifted in what they're hosting. They got a gray spotlight, and they mad that you're gonna have the real spotlight. You're going to expose that they're not good enough to be the host. Oh my goodness, this stuff is so toxic. And she really thought, y'all, in this event that I was going to read my last poem. She tried to cut me off on the last round and say, I want people who haven't read yet. I didn't even raise my hand before she said that. She got blindsided. She thought I was going to raise my hand and be able to say, no, you can't read. But I already read her energy. Look, gifted people, y'all got to start reading people's energy, because y'all got a lot of haters. Read people's energy who invite you to parties and stuff. So then when she ran out of people to read who never read, she said, anybody want to read? I stayed like this. Because I don't mean no harm. I'm not thirsty for anybody in a damn work group to hear my gift. I got plenty of publishers that have, and plenty of them who still want to, and there's going to be plenty more. So I stayed quiet. I said, well, they're not worthy to get my gift, my next poem, which is the shit. I said, I ain't going to read it then. I ain't going to read it then. And she looked like she was like hoping I would save the day. After she put me in the corner, she low-key kind of shaded me into the corner. I didn't come save the day. I just stayed quiet. I said, y'all, I'm read out. I put in the chat box, I'm read out, y'all. I ain't reading no more. I said, I'm read out. I ain't reading no more. Thank you for the compliments on my work. Thank you for reading your work. And I clicked the exit button. Y'all, I'm telling you, gifted people, y'all better stop. Y'all better stop sharing your work. Once somebody act like they want to shut your giftedness down, pack your bags and leave. Don't share no more. They gonna miss you. Oh, they gonna miss you. They might even one day out of the blue email you and say, where you been? You gonna come back? Hell no, I'm not coming back. You're passive aggressive. Hell no. Hell no. Y'all, I'm telling you. She looked at that chat box and saw that someone said, I'm impressed how such beautiful work could be written in just 10 minutes, Victoria. Amazing. Somebody put it on blast. Since the other ungifted people seemed jealous, you could feel jealous energy all in there. And the host seemed triggered, like, oh, my gifted people might leave because of this now. I felt paranoia coming from her. But some divine one put it on blast in the chat, y'all. And then other people chimed in and was like, that was some beautiful work. They called her out. They low-key called her butt out and everybody else. See? This happened even in the last event. The one before last, the host and some jealous people did the same in there. And then a couple divine ones came and called it out. And then I noticed this black girl, it's the same black chick. Every time she's in an event that I'm in, she always act like she didn't hear my work. She raises her hand to give a comment and say, I just like her voice. Her voice is soothing. The last line was great. I mean, that's all. She does this every time, y'all. She does this every time. And I'm like, she's so jealous that she thinks she's going to gaslight me about my own damn work. And like nobody else heard my work. I be like, this lady, woo, she be getting she be in judgment when she writes her work. Like the first half of her work, she's in judgment. She has a problem with showing up humble. So it takes her half of her work for her vibration to be raised. I want to tell her you need to come more humble because you're having a delay with your vibration being raised, but she's not going to want to hear it. She's not going to want to hear it. Okay? She's not going to want to hear it. You know, a lot of writers, when they're in the throes of writing, they're battling an ego. They're battling their ego. Writing, when you're in the throes of writing, there is no room for ego. Not even a second of it. You can pat yourself all on the back when you're done. But once you go to approach that blank page, there is no ego. There is no, I'm trying to compete. You're not up against nobody. You are not worried about whether you're doing better than somebody or good as other people. The moment you do that, you ain't gifted no more. The moment you are worried about how great you're going to write before you start writing, you will not write anything gifted. And that's with anything else. If before you sit down, what's important to you is to write outstanding, No. I sit down and I write what I know. I try to write true, even if it's imagined. I try to give clarity. I want to give clarity. I'm not trying to write great. I'm trying to give clarity, hard clarity, fresh clarity, a fresh perspective. Now, when I do that, it's going to automatically be great. But trying to compel yourself to write great before you even put pen on the paper, you're doomed. You're doomed. And a lot of writers are so concerned whether they're going to write great because they're attention seeking, low key attention seeking, and they low key worried about what people are going to think. Rather than just tell themselves, I just want to be clear. I want it to be fresh, hard, original, and clear. And that's with any art. Like Michael Jackson's song, Stranger in Moscow. He didn't say a person in Moscow. He said a stranger. Okay, that's clarity. We know that he must not be known, he must not know nobody, or he feels out of place, or he feels like, he don't belong, or he's not of Moscow. See, that's clarity. But if he would have sat before he sat down and said, I'm going to try to write great, I want to write something great, he wouldn't have came up with that line. I'm just telling y'all. It's a trap to even try to put that pressure on you to write something great. Greatness is just hard clarity. In order to get hard clarity, you must put pressure on yourself to get it. A one hard clarity on the page, fresh, new, original, unique. A one hard clarity. Doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. I don't give a damn. I mean, that's how you reach giftedness. Michelangelo was not thinking about any other great artist at that time when he was painting his painting. He wasn't. He wasn't worried about if what he wrote was going to be worth sharing. All he wanted was to make sure he had clarity. And that requires not thinking of quantity. Whenever I see read people's work written under 10 minutes and it's jammed and it's just stuffed with lines, I know that they was trying to show off. They was trying to impress. That they didn't even care about the clarity of the lines. They was just really trying to prove that they could write a lot and think that that will prove that they're a great writer. When it's not about how much you create, it's about what you create. Even if it's only 4 lines, it could be the ultimate gift. This need for quantity and just, I need to say a lot on the page, or I need to put a lot on the canvas. I need to go hard, as much as I can in the shortest amount of time possible. That's egotistical. Because Hemingway says, kill your darlings, your ornaments. And if you're not gifted in it, it's because you won't. You won't get rid of you won't kill the ornaments. You're being ornamental, showing off, embellished, putting way too much on the page because you're ornamental. Y'all, I'm telling you, there's a lot of artists is doing that and they want to get triggered because I'm about I'm about having 10 lines, 10 scenes, and each scene is perfected rather than having 20 scenes and there's about 7 that's not perfected. No. I don't want junk mixed in with my diamonds. I'd rather have a little bit of diamonds than have junk and trash mixed into my diamonds. But the non-gifted people don't understand that. They're caught up in the quantity mindset. And once they got to get out of that. They get out of that, and the giftedness will come more in your God-given, you know, soul plan. Serious, like if you're an artist, just say one day, all I'm going to draw is feet on the page. Try it one day. I'm just going to draw feet and hands. Don't say I'm going to draw the whole body, or spend a week or 3 days just drawing the feet of the person. See, that's true appreciation and gratitude of that specific part of the human body. You're striving for giftedness then. All this rushing to just get it done and get it all done, that's taken away from giftedness. Exactly, y'all. Look, I was the queen, okay? All right, Onita. I was the queen of quantity writing. And it was toxic as hell, okay? To the point that my mentor was like trying to tell me it was toxic, okay? My mentor, when he would go get my homework assignment, he was overwhelmed by my addiction to quantity. That he just finally said something. He was like, I want to talk to you about overwriting, about your obsession with quantity. He basically said that. He just like straight off the lesson for a minute. It had and threw that in. It's a lesson. Okay. And I was like, oh, I thought I was really showing my skills. I really thought I was, y'all. And he explained to me that great art is like the basic, and then you add a little bit to it to give it heart clarity. Okay? You add a little bit to each part to give it heart clarity. Not going on and 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 on. People think that they're really showing their skills. Y'all, that's a terrible habit to break. I'm so glad I broke that habit. It less is more in every damn thing, man. Right down to taking a shower. I used to shower with like 5 different things, y'all. Like the, you know, this obsession with quantity, thinking quantity makes it better. It's putting us in a poorhouse. It's wasting our time. It's wearing us down. It's making us toxic. It just has to stop. Okay, it has to stop. No one needs to write a 500-page novel. Come on now. It was never, y'all, I'm about to sneeze. I feel like something's on my nose, literally. Hold on, y'all. It was never, it was never, um, it was never good to do. I never had time to sit down and read a 500-page novel. That holds somebody up. There's too many other novels out here to read to be caught up in a 500-page novel for a whole year. Okay, I mean, I'm just saying. That's why I know that Stephen King, he had to use the movies to sell his books. His book can literally knock somebody out. His book is a weapon. His books are weapons. They're that thick. Y'all, I don't even try to fill up no page when I write. I'm like, I'll go ahead and put my 6 to 10 objectives and leave it as that. That'll give me time to work on each line. I don't have time to work on each line when I'm sitting up there and trying to write real fast all the way down to the end of the page. No, there's going to be a lot of mediocre in there. A lot of mediocre lines, which is a waste of my time. Mediocre is a waste of your time. You might as well make them the best 10 minutes of your life. If you only got 10 minutes to create something, you better create the best that you can create by going slow and not even thinking about quantity. Because who wants to spend even 10 minutes of their time creating something and it's like all really mediocre and cliche and it's already done before? Who wants to do that now? Oh, poet Robert Haas, man, I'm telling you, he needs to teach in all writing schools, every writing class that could possibly be taught. Because y'all, I don't like stuffy work. I call it stuffy work, where there's a whole bunch of skips in the piece because someone thinks that they're showing their writing skills. I'm still, my heart is open. I dance. My mind matters. I'm dreaming. I want the sky. And I see this bug on the floor. I'm looking at the it's like, what are you trying to do? Like, it's like, y'all, woo. I'm telling you, you will always make a better and stronger impact on the world when you can show that your less is powerful as hell. You that's how you become unforgettable. That your less is powerful as hell. Okay? And we're talking about less on the page, but not less layering. Layers, slant, mind bending, but not a lot on the page. Not a lot. Okay? That's within the art. Andy Warhol got famous by peeing in a circle. That's one of the paintings that got him famous. All he did was use his pee. That's all he did was pee in a circle. He wasn't splashing his pee all over the place. He wasn't using somebody else's pee and everybody's pee, 1,000 different pees. No, because he realized, okay, that that's what. How much can you make out of what you already got? I know some writers who will get 7 lines with great possibilities, but they'll just keep on stuffing other lines in there. They will just keep on overstuffing and keep on going on and 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 on. And it's like, no, publishers don't like that anyway. Once it goes past, usually once it goes past like 7 lines or even 4 lines, you better been writing really good. I mean, exceptionally good. Otherwise, the publisher don't want it. They ain't got time for mediocre. They don't even like 1 line in your work to be mediocre, let alone to have 4 stuffed in there. And buyers don't either. Buyers won't buy your work. If they read your work and it seems like you got about 4 lines that's mediocre mixed all up in that one stanza, They'll be like, your work is okay. Nah, they won't buy it. People is picky about how they spend their money, especially on art, especially on art, and especially even on your psychic gifts. Telling you, man. And it always amazes me that when I'm around other artists, a lot of them don't even burn lavender or they don't even do anything that calms them. They just stay anxious and attention seeking and at the edge with their ego. And then they wonder why they keep jumping from like really, really average creating to maybe one little gifted, brilliant part. They keep in that cycle because they're not calm enough where they're definitely humble. Y'all, I found out that all the being hooked on quantity, that's not humbleness, y'all. Mm-mm. If you need to have a whole lot of something, that's not humbleness. And and then you know what? It's when also I find it toxic when other people. Now I noticed in the groups, the non-gifted people, they'll start writing after I read, and I'm like, I thought she said that we're supposed to stop writing, and then I noticed that they'll start writing, and then their work will have some of my imagery in their work, and I'm like, how come she don't notice this? Like in my poem today, I say about I said like a car left running in the garage, right? This lady starts writing. I'm watching her, and then when she read her poem, she put this whole section about comparing herself to a car. Now I'm like, that's what I did. So she copied me. She listened to my work and heard me compare myself to a car. So she wrote her work when we weren't supposed to be writing anymore. Our pens were supposed to be down. She wrote her work comparing herself to a car. And like and then she embellished it. She was comparing herself to all these different cars. And I'm like, just because she mentioned different cars don't mean that stands as good. It wasn't good. I see if she dove deep into one car, but she was like the vehicle of a Lexus, of a Cadillac. See, this is the problem with when I share my gifts around the non-gifted. They want to take what I can do and bastardize it and embellish it and think they're going to take it to the next level. And all they do is ruin my brilliant line. All this trying to imitate and thinking you one up in the original is getting toxic. That's an unchecked toxicity. People listening to gifted people and saying, well, I'm going to do what they do and I'm going to take it to the next level and I'm going to put a little spin on it. You still got to prove that you got to prove in your work that still works. Just because you expand on my idea doesn't mean that it's going to be great. Y'all, I'm telling you, we living in a world of idea hijacking, and then the people that hijack it, they can't even manifest the idea to work. They think they are. Y'all, I'm like, when she said, I want to work on my life being a vehicle of a Lexus, a Cadillac. I'm like, what? How much How many cars do you want your life to be? Sounds like you're just trying to mesmerize the reader and it's not working. She didn't know how to go deep into one car, so she just kept saying car, 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 car. She couldn't go deep into her image. Like I went deep into mine when I said like a car left running in the garage. She couldn't go deep. She thought she was by just talking on and on and on about the idea. Y'all, it was toxic. And that's like the fifth time that happened. Trying to expand on people's ideas, and I'm going to take this to the next level. No, like I had said, like I said, like I am the girl in the movie Labyrinth. Okay. I was talking about Labyrinth. Somebody started writing. I'm watching. You can see all the people. Now we wasn't supposed to be writing, but you could see that the lady started writing. And then she said, okay, now I don't want to read. And then she starts to talk about, I look outside in wintertime and I see people with elf ears. And you can tell she's describing scenes from the Labyrinth. And I'm like, she literally stole. She literally stole. She plagiarized that script. And I'm thinking, instead of saying like I'm the girl in the labyrinth, like I said, she was describing all the animals and all the people in the labyrinth. So she basically took the writer's imagery. And I'm like, everybody think this is normal though. Y'all, it was crazy. She did low-key plagiarism. And I'm like, nobody called her out on it though. She said, I look and it was low-key plagiarism. She was like, I see creatures, and she said pointy ears, and she said she was describing all the goblins from the labyrinth. So she heard me say labyrinth in my work, and she decided to do a little half sketch of some sort of right and say she saw CC goblins with pointy ears and stuff. I'm like, okay. You know, if you can't come up with something to write about, why are you using other people's ideas and bastardizing them and horribly doing it? Like, I'm finding that this is happening a lot. You know, Aaron Dottie did that to me with one of my lessons on his channel. He literally watered it down. It was horrific. And I'm like, this idea bastardizing is sickening. It is straight up sickening. Writers now are reading other people's work and saying, oh, I like that imagery. Let me go ahead and use that and open up the image. And maybe they won't know that I'm low-key plagiarizing. Let me tell you something. Publishers are calling people out on that now. The one girl who won the Pulitzer Prize, she lost her Pulitzer Prize and she got fined and in trouble because that's what she did. In her work, she took imagery from another writer's work and she tried to like change a word or two, like a pronoun, and she called herself opening up the line and like, oh, so it doesn't seem like she took it. Those judges caught it and she got in trouble. And she gonna try to say, I didn't know I was doing it. Yeah, I read her work. And I did comment on her work before, but I didn't realize I plagiarized her. And I'm like, yes, you did. You did realize it. You tried to edit it a little bit so the judges don't notice. But she got caught. Y'all, Disney got caught several times. So that's unchecked toxicity. When people have the nerve to hang out in groups and want to sit up there and do a watered down version of your giftedness right in front of your face. And the host and the teachers ain't saying nothing. That's toxic. And it's going on quite a lot. Quite a lot. Oh, I was just really, really shocked. You know, and then what's funny, when I go to share how I'm doing it, when they say, how could you write such beautiful work, impressive work in just 10 minutes? When I go to tell them, do the 7 objectives, and that's all you focus on. And if you can get 3 more out and work on them under 10 minutes, then you can. They don't even say thank you. They're like, nah, you know why? Because they don't want to do the hard work. They just want to dump on the page. You know, people who are ungifted in something, they always think that there's some mysterious magic to make it just happen. If I sit down and write 9 lines and write them slow and with every word being put in on purpose, and I know why, I'm not gifted. That's what they say. It's supposed to come out like magic. There is no magic in writing. It's just you make the person think that there's magic. The magic made it happen. The magic, if you want to say there's magic in your gifts, the magic is you being able to get what you were supposed to get as you focused in on that part of your work, being humble. That's the magic. Magic isn't it just came out like just poured on out and just and it was superb. That's magic. No. Magic has, if you want to look at it as magic, magic has leaps and pauses. And it has lapse of time. All right, even when you're creating. A magician is harnessing his energy with every single inch that he is putting in, presenting a part of his spell, his image. He's harnessing very slowly. You know, when the magicians do their work, and then they might speed up a little bit once they think they got it. But in the beginning, normally it's slow because they're harnessing and they're connecting with their angel guides as they're creating the image. Slow. A magician is not thinking about how many tricks he can get out in 10 minutes. He's thinking about the quality of his tricks. Okay? How enchanting and mesmerizing he can get each wave ripple of his trick. Okay? So I'm trying to explain it. So take your time. If you feel like you haven't reached giftedness in your craft, slow the hell down and go into putting, creating less in a day. But give it your very best. All right? A magician always says, how can I make this more mesmerizing? If you're not asking yourself that as you're creating, then you're not trying to reach giftedness. Okay? You have to ask yourself as you're creating every part of your art. Did I make this go deeper? How can I make this go deeper? How can I make this more mesmerizing? How can I put a mask on it? How can I disguise it a bit? You have to ask yourself like that with every single part of your art. Okay? Um and that means you have to work with an image work with a what a magician work with. A magician works with matter, substance, which depending on your art form, if it's literary, it could be nouns and action verbs and stuff like that. Materials. Okay, we think it's not materials because we're like, oh, that's sparkly, but that still is matter. Okay. A magician has, paper flowers up their sleeve that they pull out, or, a rabbit out of a hat or something. That is still matter, substance. I'm trying to explain it to people who are trying to reach gifted levels of giftedness in their soul plan. Okay? For example, that one guy who created that suit dress, where he's wearing the tie and the suit. I didn't find that very giftedness. I really didn't. I personally felt like if he would have choose something else for his tie, okay, like man things. Women can wear ties too, so I don't see how that was all masculine. You know, I see if he has a Rolex is down the tie. Now that would have been hard, y'all. If he had that tie hanging on his suit and he had a Rolex around it, or a Rolex right here, okay, that would have been fly as hell. Okay, because he would have been giving off the image of a classy man. That's what he was trying to give off at the top of that suit. But it didn't look like a classy man because feminine women wear suits too. They make suits for women. So I felt like he failed a little bit with the top part being like, oh, that's a man. See, that was average. Okay. A magician, a magician would have taken it to another level. Maybe the bold part of the tie would have been a mustache. Okay? Like the part of the tie that's right here would have had a mustache around it. Okay? Okay, that would have been like, okay, that's a man tie. All right. Because not too many women walking around with a full grown mustache. All right, unless they're not done transgendering or something. But so see, when you are a magician, you have to really investigate your art form to see how far you're taking it. How far you can take it. And that's how you reach giftedness. Okay? Like this cat here. See this? He looking through glasses, right? I wouldn't have did this like this. I would have had glasses on him, and he would have had human eyeballs. So it's like even though he's a cat, he's looking through humanized. This is a human cat, a cat human. That's how I would have did it. I would have changed something about this cat. I wouldn't have left this cat as just a cat in front of a teacup. That's just too still like, okay, I see you thought outside the box with the teacup, but why didn't you take it further with this cat? See, you could have told it slant even with the cat. That's how gifted people think. Can I take this even to another level of fascination? I'm just saying, y'all. Okay, y'all, have a good night. I will see y'all in a couple days. I just had to do this video. I'm going to leave this video up. All right. No, y'all. I'm going to make this members only. I have to bless my members. So I hope y'all took notes. Any of my ideas in this video are copyrighted and protected and shall not be used for fair use or without my express permission. Please give copyrights if you use any of my artistic ideas that I mentioned in this video. It's not for fair use. Thank you for watching, everybody. Good night. Bye, everybody.